Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, we're diving into ICU Medical's latest 10K Forget Bedside Manor. These guys are all about bedside revenue, and their annual report, it's juicier than a hospital grape. We're talking acquisitions, global trade wars, and enough risk factors to make your head spin faster than a centrifuge. Buckle up. First off, a little disclaimer. ICU Medical wants you to know that everything in this report about the future is just their best guess. They're not promising anything, and things could change. Think of it like predicting what your doctor will say at your next checkup. You might have an idea, but who really knows? Now let's talk about potential problems. ICU Medical highlights a bunch of risk factors, things that could throw a wrench in their plans. If they can't keep up with competitors, their sales could suffer. Plain and simple, they need to stay innovative. Also, if people stop buying their stuff, they might not make back the money they spent on fancy equipment. This is like buying a top-of-the-line pizza oven and then everyone suddenly decides they only want sushi. It gets worse. Global issues like inflation, rising interest rates, and currency problems could also hurt them. Basically, the world economy being unstable makes everything harder. They're worried about trade wars. If the US changes its import rules, especially with Mexico, it could seriously mess with their business. Mexico is a key manufacturing spot for them, so any tariffs or restrictions would sting. Alright, let's get into what ICU Medical actually does. They make medical devices. Think IV pumps, catheters, and all sorts of things hospitals use. They're big customers. Hospitals, clinics, and those places where you go for long-term care. They're publicly traded under the ticker symbol ICUI on the Nasdaq, so you can buy and sell their stock. In late 2024, they made a deal with Otsuka, a Japanese company that makes IV solutions. They're forming a joint venture, which basically means they're teaming up to make IV solutions in North America. The deal is expected to be done in the second quarter of 2025. Let's talk about what they sell. First up, consumables. These are things hospitals use up, like IV sets, connectors, and caps that keep everything sterile. A big part of their consumables business is something called infusion therapy. That includes needle-free connectors, disinfection caps, the small things that help prevent infection during IV treatments. They also have oncology products. These are things like closed system transfer devices, CSTDs, which are used to safely handle dangerous drugs like chemotherapy. This protects healthcare workers from getting sick themselves. Moving on, vascular access products are all about getting into your veins and arteries. Think IV catheters and blood collection devices. Finally, they have tracheostomy products for helping people breathe. Now let's talk about infusion systems. These are the high-tech tools for delivering fluids and drugs. Their Plum 360 infusion pumps are award-winning. They have software that connects their pumps to hospital records. Finally, vital care includes IV solutions, systems that monitor your heart, anesthesia, and temperature management solutions for keeping patients at the right temperature during surgery. They have manufacturing plants in the United States, Costa Rica, Mexico, and Czech Republic. They also fix and service broken devices all over the globe. ICU sells its products worldwide, both directly and through distributors. In fact, one major distributor accounts for a big chunk of their sales, almost a fifth. That's a lot of eggs in one basket. Because they make medical devices, the FDA keeps a close eye on them. They need to get approval for their products and follow strict rules about manufacturing, safety, and how they market their stuff. Getting a new medical device approved is not easy. Most of ICU Medical's products need something called 510K clearance from the FDA. That means they have to show their device is basically the same as something already on the market. The FDA does regular inspections too. Some of their IV solutions are actually regulated as drugs. That means even more hoops to jump through, including lab tests, clinical trials, and tons of paperwork. It's even more complicated than in the US. In Europe, they need a CE mark to sell their stuff. That means following EU rules and getting approval from special organizations. There's a whole alphabet soup of laws they have to follow, like the anti-kickback statute and HIPAA. These are designed to prevent fraud, protect patient data, and make sure doctors aren't getting bribes. Healthcare costs are always a hot topic, and any changes to laws or how things get paid for can really affect ICU Medical. They need to keep prices down and make sure people can afford their products. Now let's talk about some major problems. First, damage to their factories or their suppliers' factories could stop them from making their products. Second, they're worried about cybersecurity attacks. If hackers break into their systems, it could disrupt their business and expose sensitive data. If they can't successfully integrate Smiths Medical, their business could suffer. Big mergers are complicated, and they need to make sure everything works well together. The loans they took out to buy Smiths Medical have rules that limit what they can do. This means that may struggle to grow and take on more debt. They've got to follow the Physician Payment Sunshine Act, which shines a light on payments to doctors. Their business is subject to a number of risks. Make sure you read this part to learn more about the potential risks of investing in ICU Medical. The Smiths Medical deal changed ICU Medical. It resulted in a larger company and brought about organizational shifts. If they don't complete the integration successfully, preserving the elements of company's culture, it could hurt their reputation with customers. One particular thing is that integrating Smiths Medical comes with some risks. This integration might disrupt ICU's business and activities and lead to higher expenses or lower revenues, which could harm our financial performance. Okay, numbers time. I'm scrolling to the section on their financial condition and results of operations. Here are some key highlights from 2024. Gross profit increased to $824.8 million in 2024, with operating expenses at $781.8 million. But here's the thing, their net loss was over $117 million. While this sounds bad, it's important to remember this is just one number. A peek at their documents incorporated by reference. ICU Medical is pointing you to their proxy statement. It's like the cheat sheet for their annual shareholder meeting. That's where you'll find all the juicy details on who's running the show and how much they're getting paid. Okay, so what's the verdict on ICU Medical? ICU Medical has proven it can grow, not just organically, but through big acquisitions like Smiths Medical. That's a sign they're ambitious and looking to expand their reach and portfolio. And as global health needs change, ICU Medical seems to be trying to adapt. The company has significant debt and relies on a few key distributors. Any disruption there could cause a big financial headache. Navigating these complex regulations in the US, Europe, and other markets is an ongoing challenge. ICU Medical stock has taken a beating in recent years. This could be a red flag, or it could be a buying opportunity for those who believe in their long-term vision. Bottom line, ICU Medical is a company with potential, but definitely not a risk-free investment. Do your own research and consider your own risk tolerance before making a decision. That's it for today's Corporate Decoder. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what company we should check out next. See you next time.